general advice would you give to students about to study at university?
So the advice the main advice I'd give, and I think this is important for all aspects of your life, is to have a good work-life balance. I think it's important that you don't, do work every single day, all day, every day, because you're going to burn yourself out and you're going to find lack of enjoyment in your course. I think it's important to be able to enjoy yourself whilst at university, because when you go into the real world, it's the one opportunity in your life that you get to kind of be free for the first time living away from home. So I just kind of recommend having a study routine, whether, for me personally, I don't work the best in the middle of the day. So I would work between 7 a.m. and 12, and then I'll work between 5 and like 12 again, depending on kind of, the mood I'm in that day, as that's what work schedule works best for me. And it's when I'm most productive. So I just recommend to students to find something that works for them and not to, force themselves to work 9 to 5 every day. If that's not something that suits you, don't do it. You need to find a way that works for you in terms of your study. Otherwise, you'll lose enjoyment. And don't leave things to the last minute, because you will regret it. And, kind of another advice as well is, second year is very important, and more important than you think it is when you come to final year. Because I know, with myself and other people I know, you could, finish second year with 68%, but that then means in your final year, you need to get 74%, rather than if you've done a little bit better in second year, you take the pressure off final year when it's a lot harder and there's a lot more elements to kind of deal with. So you really do push yourself in second year, as it just takes a lot of pressure off your final year at university.
What advice would you give to students about to study at Bournemouth University?
So yeah, my advice for people studying at Bournemouth is to kind of make sure you go through all of the criteria of everything you're going to be covering, and make sure you look at the units, and find out what's kind of suited to you. Once you find out the units that you think will best be suited to you, make sure that you go out of there and you contact your lecturers and you have a look at the brief of your lecturers about kind of what they specialize in. And once you find out what they specialize in, you can approach different lecturers and ask them about different stuff. I know some lecturers who specialize in TV and some in radio, and they have experience at companies like BBC and stuff like that. So, make sure once you find your interest and find things you're catered to reach out to your lecturers, because you will find out that they have a wealth of knowledge and they've done lots of experience within the industry, and they can advise you on lots of different things.
And finally, what advice would you give to students about to study your course at university?
So yeah, people about to study media production, generally, or at Bournemouth?
Generally.
Yeah, so if you're going to study media production, make sure you have a real look at actually what the criteria is. When I was applying for universities, I was applying for film production, media production, and then kind of media studies, as well as sort of media and anthropology. Make sure you kind of have a look at everything that it breaks down into each element. Bournemouth University is great because it combines academic stuff as well as actually having practical knowledge. But you might find that a course is better suited for you under the same sort of branding. However, the name might be slightly different, because if you like anthropology and you like learning about life, then you might find a media and anthropology course more insightful and more interesting, or you might find a media comms course more interesting, depending on your interests. So if you're kind of looking in to go to the field of media production or just media in general, make sure you have a breakdown of all of the units and everything they cover, because you might find that something you're interested in, you're actually interested in something slightly different, but the names are very, very similar.